industry, focusing on personal growth and forward movement. In the last 6 years, she has been coaching and training in the business world, collaborating with business owners, teams, and to build better communication and leadership skills. So welcome to the stage, Julie. Thank you. And I will get you started.
Thank you. Oh, I need a little.
Yep, right here.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thanks to everybody who's coming, and again, welcome to all the new people. So it's really fun to see you all here. So what we're going to talk about today is pivot. 5 pillars to resilient leadership. Remember that leadership is all about influence. So you may think, oh, I'm not a leader, I don't have a title. No, we all have influence over someone, as moms, as wives, as friends, as church leaders, as business owners. Okay, a little bit about me. I'm married to an Australian. So that's kind of cool, right? How many people do you know that are married to an Australian? I have twin daughters. They both serve in the United States Air Force. That was not my plan when I gave birth, that they would be living in Europe and Southeast Asia. Not easy as a mom. I own Total Wellness Coaching Fitness Studios for 15 years. And according to the business coach, you build a business, you sell it. And so I sold it in 2017 and then transferred and did some work in the medical clinic area, and then now am working in coaching again because I love just doing what I'm doing. So for over 20 years, like I said, I am a certified member of the Maxwell executive team. So you heard Julieta talk about John Maxwell. So we are both on the same team, and it is wonderful. So if anybody ever read a book by John Maxwell? Okay, so very good expert on leadership communication and focusing on our strengths. So that's just a little bit about me. You'll get to know a little bit more. So this is my story. It's February 2023. I'm standing in my kitchen. Smoke all around me. My eyes are burning from the smoke, crying, sobbing. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Felt like I was having a heart attack. The pain was so intense. I was burning a picture, conducting what I call a little mini funeral. It was a picture of my daughter with her husband and my 3 grandchildren, and my husband and I. She had just found out, after being married for only a year, that her husband was still in love with his ex-wife and wanted a divorce. So in one day, all my dreams shattered. Not just losing my grandchildren, because I had embraced them. You know, some people may talk about step-grandchildren. They were my grandchildren. I'm like, I'm gonna embrace them. Losing them, but also losing my daughter. Now, my daughter did not die, okay, just letting you know, and she has grown a lot through this very hard trial. But as a mom, how many of you have daughters? Wow, okay. You kind of dream when they're born, okay, they're gonna grow up and we're gonna be best friends and we're gonna have tea parties and work out together and go shopping together and have lunches, right? That dream came back because she was gonna live 10 minutes from me. So on that day in February, all those dreams were shattered too. But just letting you know, I do need to say, she's doing really well now. So, but I have not seen my grandchildren for a couple years, because what do? Hello, can we go over to ex-grandma's house today? Like, that's not gonna happen. Anybody ever heard the song Burn the Ships by King Country? That was a song playing that day of that mini funeral. I'm not gonna play the song for you because I Don't know that I could go through the whole song here and then still finish my talk. But look it up, very good. But some of the words that really spoke to me was burning the ships, cut the ties, dry your tears, wave goodbye, step into a new day, a new journey, a new path. Rise up from that dust, let go of the heartache, light a match, leave the past. How easy is it to get stuck in our past? Leave the past, burn the ships, and don't look back. How many of you have heard the legend of Cortez, conquistador back in 1519, I think it was, where he was going to take over the Aztec Empire? So it's a legend, might be true, might not, but the point is still the same. He came over to the Americas, burned the ships, and guess what? Victory or death was basically it. There was no way for retreat. So for us today, that kind of illustration of burning the ships, so thinking about what do we need to leave behind, and don't look back, and move forward into our beautiful, oops, I have to keep remembering to focus this way. Whoop, there. Resiliency is all about adversity. It's not what happens to you that determines how far you will go in life, it's how you handle what happens to you. Don't you wish it were easier? Wouldn't it be nice if we could just grow? Ah, smooth sailing, I'm growing. No, growth comes through adversity. Darn it, right? But that's what happens. Can you think of a time in your life, I'm sure we all can, where things were really tough, and yet we have come through that, and now we are in a much better place. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is resiliency. How many basketball players? Woohoo! All right. I'm going to try to do this slow because I did this fast at home and I got so dizzy I had to sit down. So it's been a while since I played. But those of you who know, so the word pivot, you have to keep that one leg planted, but you pivot around. So one of the principles as we're going through a hard time is sometimes we're standing there. So for example, if you think of someone knocking on the door, come on, let me in, let me in, let me in, let me in. Okay, just pivot. Oh, there's an open door there. Ever had that with a relationship? Hanging on too long? Hanging on to the past too long? Stop standing there pounding on the door. Let me in, turn, pivot. Oh, look at all the doors, the windows that are open to me. So that was my word last year, yep. And I had to do a lot of pivoting, and a lot of that pivoting happened in my mind and how I was looking at that, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. That was me. Not really, just kidding. I saw all of you were like, it doesn't look like her. Okay, so pivot is an acronym. The P stands for purpose. When a leader has clarity, their team has clarity, and that clarity is contagious. So you heard Julieta talking about it's very important to have clarity in our vision, clarity in our purpose. So do you know what your life purpose is? Not what you do, because what do we say? Oh, hi, I'm Julie. Oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a coach, speaker, trainer, right? Oh, I work for a bank. Oh, I'm this. But what's our purpose? Anybody ever done a vision board? So that's a great way to just kind of focus on what our purpose is and what our why is. And maybe you've heard it that way. And a purpose is a little bit deeper than just what we do, as I said. So for example, our purpose can drive our goals. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, and I know we talked about that some in our commercials, but that feeling of overwhelm can become clear when we know our purpose. So for example, I told you I have twin daughters. When they were littler, I was asked at church, would you like to come and help in the nursery? Well, nursery was only, it's only once every 3 months and it's only this amount of time. So of course I should say yes, right? It did not align with my purpose. So my purpose at that time, and even throughout that time of the girls growing up, was how can I invest in them? I have them for a short time, and so I want to focus on that. That was not going to be investing in them. So I said no. And I'm sure a lot of people, boy, what's wrong with her? Like it's only 1 hour every 3 months, but it did not align with my purpose. Now, same idea. So fast forward, the girls are now in junior high. Mommy, would it be all right if we could help out in the nursery? I said, oh yes, that would be lovely. So now I'm investing in my daughters, I'm being together with them, whereas before I was doing the girls club. So now, yes, I could say yes to the nursery because it aligned with my values, my purpose. Make sense? So those things can shift. So whenever you feel like, oh, I've got it figured out, I have balance. Be ready, because balance is ever shifting. Life shifts, life happens, different things happen, and we need to be able to pivot and shift. So purpose, you've got in front of you some coaching questions. We're not going to take the time to do all of them, but that's why I printed it off, so you can take them home, because they're going to take some time and some reflection to really think through. Kind of like Julietta's questions. How many of you could answer the full question in a few seconds? We can't. So take those home, right? So what is your life purpose and values? And is it crystal clear? So P is for? Okay. Who said ice cream? Who said ice cream? I love it. Okay, P is for?
Purpose.
Okay, I is for?
Ice cream.
Okay. I love it. Oh boy, that could be another whole talk, right? All right, you wouldn't worry so much about what others think of you if you realized how seldom that they do. Eleanor Roosevelt. I still remember the day with my first coach, and I was like, oh, I'm so worried about what other people are gonna think about me, and blah, 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 and I'm going on and on because I wasn't willing to step forward and take that risk in my business at the time. Guess what she said to me? Julie, I'm sorry to tell you this, but I'm going to burst your bubble. No one is thinking about me. And I was like, oh, how dare you? That was my first reaction in my head. Thank goodness I didn't say it, but she's right. She's right. No one else is looking at me in this workout, facility. Oh, look at her. They're so busy looking at themselves, trying to do it right? Nobody is looking at me or thinking about me. So I don't mean that in a sadistical way, but do you know what I mean? Most of us are focused. So when you have a picture of a whole group of people, who's the first person you look at on the picture to choose which picture to put in your scrapbook? Which one is best of me? Oh, yep, that's the one that goes in the scrapbook. Then I look at the rest of the people, right? Anybody else? I'm not the only. So you might think, ice cream, what does ice cream have to do with resiliency? Well, what it is when you're in that difficult situation, you need to grab a pint of Ben & Jerry's, eat it, and then you will feel all the way better. Just kidding. Just kidding. So ice cream, if you want to make everyone happy, don't be a leader. Just go sell ice cream. Buy yourself an ice cream truck, sell ice cream, because then you'll be everybody's best friend, right? Leadership is hard. Leadership is hard. I love that saying. All right, so that's what ice cream. So please, am I clear? I am not saying go buy a pint of ice cream. And if you do that, then you better come see Nick afterwards and get some help, right? Once in a while, have a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, not the whole pint.
No. many of you are people pleasers?
Recovering.
Yeah, recovering. Me too, me too.
Remission.
But you think about people pleasing. Yeah, a lot of us fall into that because we really care what other people think, right? And people pleasing can really stop us in our tracks and not help us be resilient and be able to move forward into the potential, into who we are. Because we're so busy trying to please everybody. Has anybody ever succeeded in pleasing every single person in their life? No. So why do we keep doing it? We can't succeed. All right, I'm gonna call up, I have 3 volunteers. Oh, nope, I'm not there yet. I'll call you up in a bit. Okay, I gotta talk about boundaries first. So, have you ever seen, some people call it the 3 locus of control. You could also call it the 3 circles of responsibility. Anyone ever done Clifton Strengths? My number 1 strength is responsibility. I'm oldest child of 6. I'm an American. I'm type A. I kind of don't have a chance, right? But how I used to be is I would try to fix everything. I was the fixer in the family, fix everything. So when you're looking at this, so you're thinking about what do you have control in? As women, we want to control everything, right? You may not call yourself a control freak, but we do like to be in control. What are we 100% of control of?
Ourselves.
Not your husband?
Yeah.
Not your children? Not your employees? We aren't, are we? But yet, how often do we try to? So remembering, this can be very freeing, ladies. What am I in control of? What am I responsible for? Myself, my thoughts, my actions, my words. That's it. That's it. Sorry. This was so freeing for me. The second, the partial control. So you have a little bit of control, young children. So maybe up to grade school, depending on your child, but especially 5 and under, like you can put them in their room, right? You have somewhat control. Your health, we have control, somewhat. But what happens when you are owning a gym and you are working out and you are in the best fitness level of your life, and then some stupid lady driving backwards hits you in a car, and your whole life is turned around. So health, we have some control, but there's some outside of our control. Finances, same thing. How many of us have lost some money with the Dow going down recently? Outside. What?
Only if you sold it, you haven't lost anything unless you moved it.
Oh, well, my husband would argue, because he's watching it every day. Oh, we lost 10,000 today, we lost, and so we're not selling. Exactly, exactly. So, very good. But finances, we're in somewhat control. We can save, we can do all those things, but we're outside of other things, right? So again, car accident, okay, you could lose your car could be totaled, your house could burn down, so partial control. 0. That's a really long list. Husbands, significant others, children, adult children. How many have adult children? Oh. Did I not raise you better than this? Right? Don't say that. Say that in your head. Circumstances, world economics, the weather. Lori was just talking about the weather, but we're not in charge of the weather. I missed a great opportunity for an entrepreneur fair earlier this month because there was an ice snowstorm, only during the 2 hours that I needed to drive there. I could give up, but no, I'm not in charge of the weather. The future, timing, people's perception of me, other people's choices and actions. Oh God, we are not in control. So thinking about that, and that can be a very freeing thing. So now I'm going to bring up my 3 So Esme, Julieta, and Nick. Oh boy. So this is one thing that I learned probably about 10 years ago, the hula hoop theory. So thinking about a boundary. So if you have a hula hoop, anybody can hula hoop? You can hula, okay. Well, we could when we were kids.
Courtney.
Okay, so come on in. So if you guys, so Nick is gonna come in. Okay, pretty comfortable, right? Okay, Julieta, wanna join her? A little bit less comfortable. Esme?
I have a big butt. But it'll stay up.
All right, and then I'm coming in. All right, it's a little uncomfortable. What if we kept putting more people in here? A little bit more uncomfortable. Do you think we can hula hoop?
No.
No. All right, thank you, ladies.
Oh, I thought we gotta see the hula hoop.
No. If you want to try hula
Perfect.
hooping
Your
after
brother
you
kept it
can,
up.
this is a weighted hula hoop, and so it's made for us adults. Okay. But what I want you to see there is that when we have all these people inside our boundaries, they're not healthy boundaries. So I had a situation probably 10-ish years ago with my family, extended family, I should say, so parents, siblings, where a decision was being made about purchasing a cabin. 4 of the 6 kids did not want the cabin. Within 1 week in between the talking about it as the kids and coming together for the family meeting, everybody changed their mind. I was standing alone. It was, well, I was gonna say the worst day of my life, but I don't know, I think February 2023 trumps that. But it was a pretty bad day. And I was basically kicked out of my family for about a year. Because my mom was so mad at me that I didn't want to do a cabin. I said, let everybody, you can still buy the cabin. There's 5 other kids, I don't care. My money now has to be invested in my daughters because they're living overseas. It's past the time for a cabin for me. Yeah. So, without going into a whole lot of detail, it was really hard. And that year of being kicked out, I had to learn about what am I in control of and pushing people outside of my hula hoop. Now it's very interesting, if you have people unhealthy boundaries and you ask them, could you please, respectfully, could you please step outside my hula hoop, right? They might respect you for it. More often than not, they will be angry. And that's what happened to me. Everybody was angry in my family. Now, backing up, they didn't like that they were in my hula hoop. Julie, stop trying to fix us. Julie, right? All this stuff. But when I made the healthy boundary, because that was all they knew, well, Julie doesn't love the family anymore. I mean, I wasn't even invited to Christmas that year. So, you know, so be okay. But I tell you what now, 10 years on, my mom has more respect for me than for my sister, because I've set those boundaries. She still doesn't like it. She's not like, oh, thank you, Julie, for setting that boundary. I so appreciate it. No, but she respects that. So be ready if you need to add a healthy boundary somewhere, that if you're in a toxic workplace, if you have a toxic friend, family, now family is a little bit harder, right? So just know. So hula hoop theory, love that. And I have been living my life from that, and I tell you what, life changer. So what healthy boundaries do you need to put in place in your life to claim back your joy? How many of us are living drained? That's not life. We're living dead. That's not life. Claim back our joy. We want to live with joy. So I is for, or P is for?
Purpose.
I is for?
Ice cream. Ben and Jerry's.
V is for victor mindset. You hear a lot of coaches talk about mindset. So thinking about, do we have a victor mindset or a victim mindset? Leadership is a mindset that shifts from being a victim to creating results. You can't create results if you're in victim mode. Any one of us can demonstrate leadership in our work and within our lives. Are you living above the line or below the line? So above the line, we're the victors. We take responsibility, for our actions. We are accountable. We take ownership. Below the line, blaming, excuses, denial. Now let me say something here. We want to live above the line most of the time. All of us are human. We're gonna fall below the line. Correct? Now, the problem is if we stay there. And I'm sure we all know and have people in our lives who are just you spend time with them and you come away drained of energy, right? Anybody have people like that? I have one friend, we kind of nickname her behind her back, it's really kind of mean, I guess, but Eeyore, and it's just like, oh, okay, so I really have to get my mindset in a place to be with her, because I still love her and want to be her friend, but if I'm not in the right mindset, I'm not going to be good for her, right? So the key is when we're below the line, how long are we going to stay there? Don't stay. We don't want to stay there forever. So it's learning how to get back up above the line a little bit more quickly. I kind of give myself a 24-hour that I can be disappointed or discouraged. And I tell you what, that entrepreneur fair, I took 30 minutes. And I will say, sorry, Nick, I did have a cup of tea and some chocolate. And sat and kind of redid my mind. And I was like, okay, I'm here at home, what can I do? Let me pivot and work on the message for today. Because in the past, I would have just sat there, oh, I lost all this money and, no opportunities, okay? So pivoting and find yourself and get back above that line. It's not a fun place to be. And you think about it, what do we default to? I'm walking through a living room. Oh, stupid table. Oh, did the table jump out and hit my foot? No, I'm blaming the thing. Me, turn on the light so I can see, so I don't run into the furniture, right? That's taking ownership. So a simple thing, but you see how easy it is to just kind of, that's normal life. Disappointment is inevitable. We can be disappointed every single day, sometimes several times a day. Discouragement, however, is a choice. One of my more recent coaches, he shared that with me, and I'm like, I think about that every day because it's so easy. I could have become discouraged, but no. So we are going to be disappointed, so it's not all, roses. But choose wisely. And one of the things that can help in that area is gratitude. So even thinking about, okay, well, what am I grateful for? So like that day with that entrepreneur fair again, okay, well, how can I pivot? How can I use this time and be grateful for it, right? Another thing that you might hear people talk about in the mindset area is abundant mindset. There's a lot of different ways people will explain it. You also hear abundant mindset versus scarcity mindset. One of the things I love, so this was at a conference with John Maxwell last year, and he was talking about how come we, as business owners, are fighting over the same darn piece of pie. Think about it in here. There's a few bankers. There was a few coaches I heard, right? Are we gonna be in competition? When I was in the fitness industry, how many people are unhealthy today and need help? There's a lot, there's enough to go around. How many people need to grow in their leadership? There's a lot to go around. So we need to shift that mindset. And I will tell you honestly, this is like an everyday thing. So even last night I was talking to my marketing guy. I said, well, I need people. You need the right people. And that's the difference between scarcity mindset and abundant mindset. What John said, stop fighting over the same piece of pie. Just go and bake another pie. And I was like, oh. And I think about that every day. I'm like, yes, how can I bake another pie? How can I work together with this person? Instead of, oh no, they're doing the same thing as me, I don't know, right? How can I celebrate their wins? It's not a natural thing, maybe it is for you, not for me, I have to work at it. But that's talking about mindset. So Victor mindset, how will you intentionally invest in your personal and professional growth for the second half of 2025? Because if you're not intentional, you're not going to see growth. If you are in a canoe on the river, St. Croix River, and you are not paddling, are you going to end up where you want to go? Ever tried that? Even stopping paddling for, I don't know, 10 seconds, as much time as it took me to take out my camera to take a picture, I was totally turned around, I was going the wrong direction, I was not being intentional. So same thing with our growth. So P is for?
Purpose.
You guys are forgetting already. P is for?
Purpose.
I. B. Okay. O is for optimism. Things turn out best for the people who make the best of the way things turn out. John Wooden, he's a very famous coach. What do you see? Dot. Anybody else can see the dot?
It's a little blurry.
What?
It's a little blurry.
It's a little. Thank you, Alyssa.
It's a mole.
Okay, a blurry dot. Everybody see that?
It's a mole.
Anybody see the white gray space around the blurry dot? But you didn't say that. So how often do we focus on the one little thing and we miss everything else? Right? How many of you go in front of the mirror? Oh! One little pimple, and your whole rest of your face looks beautiful, but all you can see is a pimple. Anybody ever been there? Okay, so we tend to just focus on the one negative or the one small thing that isn't going right in our life, and we forget about everything else that's going right. And therein, that's where bringing gratitude in again and practicing that daily can help you refocus. So I want to talk a little bit about reframing events. So this is something that I've been practicing for the last couple of years, something newer that I've been learning. And so 2 examples. So one, over on the right, I already kind of told you a little bit about my family situation. But one of the things I've been working on for reframing, because what I would say, and I even said it today if you caught it, I lost my grandchildren. Okay, did I lose them? No, they're still alive, right? So how can I reframe that? And this did not happen overnight. I've been working on this 2 years, and even when I was, this is the first time I'm sharing about that in a public setting. Even when I was working on that, I'm like, okay, I think I'm okay, but it was bringing up some stuff again I needed to deal with. So, but with reframing, okay, what about thank you that I got to be a grandma for a whole year to these 3 wonderful children, instead of focusing on I lost my grandchildren. Now they're both true, right? So I'm not saying it's not true that I lost them, but if I'm focused over here all the time, how am I going to be able to move forward in a victor mindset? I can't. So I need to stop focusing on the past and say, what can I pull from that and reframe? The other one that I want to share with you that I reframed, so this was my team. I was working with some dental offices, and they gave me, okay, this is what we want you to do. And we thought it would take 5 years. It took 1 year, and I had finished everything that they had said. So I came before my bosses. Okay, so I pretty much finished everything that you said. So now I still want to coach your office managers, because that was my job, to build them in leadership. Maybe you can give me some other stuff to do, helping build businesses, right? So I gave them 3 options, option A, B, or C. They chose option D, which I did not give, none of the above. Thank you very much. bye, you're out of a job in 2 weeks. Guess when that happened? February 2023, all in that 1 month. It was a very hard month for me. So, that was really hard because I was hired by them to be a coach and to coach their office managers. Now, looking back, I can see, and this is part of growth as you start to step back, right? I can see that, okay, the wife and I, it's a husband-wife team. So the wife and I were on the same page as far as what coaching is. The husband, however, was coaching is more, come on in, get my clinics profitable, good, we're good to go. So, because we didn't really have that conversation, so I can see that now, but when they first let me go, wow, I must not be a very good coach, I must have lost it. I must have lost it. But, stepping back, reframing, well, guess what? They never said that. You suck as a coach, Julie. Get out of here. They never said that. In fact, what they said was, wow, you're amazing that you finished everything in 1 year. Bye. We wish you all the best on your new adventure. So, reframing that, because we can get into a place where we tell ourselves a story. Nice quote by Brené Brown there. Anybody ever listen to the Let Them book?
Yep.
Read it? Okay. So just remember there are two sides to the coin. So let them, let me, or how I say it, what is my responsibility and what is not my responsibility. So again, just giving that freedom with your, giving that freedom with your boundaries. Optimism, question there, you've got it on there, all right? Last one, tenacity. Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. So, story, if you have a tree that you want to knock down in your backyard, or you have several trees, you go out with your axe, right? So thinking about that, consistency compounds. First of all, when you have a goal, you need to focus on one goal. How many of us, I want to do all of this. That would be like going out, chop one tree, chop, chop. How fast is that tree going to come down? Focus. One tree. Have you ever tried to chop down a tree with a baseball bat? You need the right tools. You need the right tools. So do you have the right tools? Some people talked about that today. Don't swing your axe in different places. If you swing up here, and then the next day swing down here, the tree's never going to fall. So you need to be focused there. Be consistent. Don't swing once in a while. Well, I don't really feel like doing my 5 chops today on the tree. I'll just skip today. Daily action matters. And the 5th one, don't stop before the tree falls. Tenacity, persistence. Because sometimes it'll fall in 5 days. Sometimes you'll realize your goal in 100 days. Sometimes it will take a couple years. Stay consistent on your goal. So P is for I, V,
Victor.
O,
Optimism.
and T.
Tenacity.
Very good. So take those questions home with you. You can't change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction. Pivot, change that direction. Coaching can help you do that, can help with purpose, clarity, creating momentum. We have several wonderful coaches in this team. So your next step, I always like to leave people with the next step if they are wanting to take that next step. So coaching can be something that you can look at for next steps. 2 opportunities, individual or small group coaching. You also have the QR code at the bottom of your worksheet. You heard me talk about several coaches. I think I talked about 3 or 4 of the coaches that I've had in my life. There is a saying, every good coach has a coach. Because every good business owner, that's how we keep growing. So just be open to that. That is actually my calendar link to sign up just for a free consult. So in the free consult, we just talk about what it might look like, if we would be a good fit, and then kind of move forward from there. All right.
Wanna mention your book?
Oh, yes. So two more things. So okay, so I have my book back there, Unstoppable. If you would like, this is a book full of stories of resiliency, and my story in here is about my gym business. I didn't talk about that a whole lot today, but there's a lot of stories that went wrong in my gym business, just saying. And the last thing, I just want to give away a little prize. Who has an April birthday? Okay, are you 24? Who's close to 24? April 24th. 28?
April 27th.
Oh, 27th. She's the closest. My birthday is April 24th next week, so in honor of my birthday, giving a gift to Alyssa. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it.
So we want to quickly do a drawing for the flowers. So I just took all your business cards that you guys put together, because that should be all